My name is Fraser.
My name is Mark.
And we are the hosts of the geekiest show alive. To the outside world, we're ordinary geeks.
But in the Fab International Studios, we talk comics and find other geeks just like us. This is Geek of the Week.
It's trade-off.
Get books from somewhere.
Oh, mate, I was like, no, this is the week I do a straight face one. I'm just gonna say it's trade-off.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
You kind of like...
Don't think I liked it though.
You raised your eyebrows. I thought you were expecting me to say something.
No, I was just get comics from somewhere. Anyway. I read, I promise.
I do. I read a lot these days. I read more now than I ever did.
I know.
Because my pull's so big from pull or pass.
Just heavy, mate. I have to carry it, lug it around.
Yeah.
Mark has got super hench from just carrying all these comics around.
Haven't.
He's like, ugh.
So, trade-off. This is the part of the show where Fraser and I am. I'm going to do it this week. We've got different tastes. I tend to be more into your indies, your horror and your sci-fi and your weird stuff. And Fraser's more family-friendly, superheroes kind of a vibe. So, every week we take it in turns to recommend a book to each other and we discuss the book. So one of us will have already read it and loved it, and the other one will be trying it for the first time. And we've tended to be kind to each other, but sometimes we're not, and sometimes we give each other something that we kind of expect the other one to hate.
Yes. yes. Just to keep it interesting. Otherwise our tastes start to meld into one.
It's true.
Hybrid.
It's true.
Amalgam.
This week it's a brand new trade. It's not even available yet. It's a book that I bought I supported on Kickstarter, so we've only got the PDF so far. I've got the trade paperback in the post on its way to me.
Excellent.
But it's literally not available yet unless you kickstarted it. So we are reading The Theory by Neil Gibson from TPub Comics.
Who we had on I guess Geek.
We did.
A couple of weeks ago, which was really cool.
You can listen to my interview with Neil either on the YouTube channel or on our previous issue.
Yeah,
I can't remember what issue it was.
One of the 20s.
Yeah.
One of the 20s.
Yeah.
You'll find it somewhere.
Yeah.
Just listen to every one of them, and then eventually you'll find it. Yeah. Or you can just go on the YouTube and there is just Neil Gibson interview. But whatever floats your boat. But yeah, and we also talked about one of his books in the past while about Twisted Dark.
We have talked about Twisted Dark.
And it was another one that you sort of gave to me, and I got the vibe of Twisted Dark. It was nice. It was very similar to it, but with sci-fi. And
I was going to say the same.
This is pretty cool, and like I liked that they had a common thread through it. Like, actually, no, I'll talk about, because what they did, for those of you who haven't listened to the Twisted Dark discussion, again, that's on our YouTube or previous issues if you want to listen to it, is that it's sort of like separate stories, and there's always like an introduction beforehand, and it's always like they do sort of start to interconnect.
Well, even the layout and the font was very similar to Twisted Dark. And that's clearly deliberate.
And like each story, again, despite it being by like sort of the same sort of team and stuff like that, each story seems to have a different, art style, a different story. Like it seems to be like, you can start. The more I read it and the further I got, I was like, okay, I can start to see this all being one world. Yeah. But you can sort of tell that it's different, being told different stories. It's sort of again like that Black Mirror thing of where like they did the whole thing of each episode is something different, but you can start to connect to them. And the
beauty of it is that I feel like every story is standalone.
Yeah.
But integrated in some way, and some are more subtle than the others, and it's just so well done. But that's the beauty of Twisted Dark, is that that's how Twisted Dark works, and they've obviously gone for the same kind of vibe, a well thought out, pre-planned world with The Theory.
Yeah.
And as a style and as a concept, it's worked so well with Twisted Dark. And it's working really well with The Theory as well.
Yeah, and it'd be really cool to see if they do this with other genres. Like obviously they've delved into horror, they delved into sci-fi. Now it'd be cool to see what they do next. Maybe like they could do like a Western thing, or like a different
twisted Western, twisted fantasy, twisted
and like
twisted romance.
I don't think it'd be twisted. Oh, if they did love stories, that would be epic. But Neil's a bit twisted in his ways, and he's like...
He is, and he's open about it as well.
On his Twitter, he is like Twisted Neil, so it would be cool. I mean, he did do the Twisted Light, so maybe we get a one-off a romance.
Did I lend you Twisted Light?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, you should read Twisted Light.
Very gutted about, to be fair, not going to lie.
We'll put that on
Give me horror.
We'll put that on trade-off.
Yeah, for sure. And what I liked about this was it had, again, what Twisted Dark had before each story. There was a nice, it had the title. Again, it was really nice. It separated it because it was like a plain white background. So it was, a deliberate sort of break. And it had like the title. And then it had a quote from different people. Like, it was like the Dalai Lama, I think, with a quote and stuff like that. And just they'd get different quotes from each sort of things that relate to the story. And that was a nice touch because it sort of set the vibe to be an English student. It set the motif of the story of that piece. There
Definitely.
We go. Totally worth doing those A-levels, wasn't it? Motif, mate. Love it.
Motif.
Oh, what else words did I learn?
I really liked how it didn't do anything particularly new with its questions and its topics, because sci-fi is designed to use the future to question and highlight the horrors of the modern world, and
like a social commentary,
and that was very present, and so not necessarily original, but yeesh, it was so dark and twisted,
some of the twists at the end,
clever and nasty, and wasn't perhaps as original as but it was so well done that it was brilliant.
I liked as well because the thing with the Twisted Dark thing, it's always like there's always a twist at the end, and it's dark horror. So it would have been funny if it would have been interesting if this was called, like, so in my head it's called like Twisted Theory, because it's always on about there's a different like scientific theory for something else, and that's what the theory is always what sets up the sci-fi, but then there is always that twist at the end. So Twisted Theory.
Yeah.
No, Neil, stick with your title. Don't trust me for anything.
And it used metaphors like science fiction always does, and it made you think very seriously about your ethics, modern ethics, and potentially the ethics of the future. And it's explored the modern conundrums in remarkable settings like sci-fi does. But just it was so nasty, and even though you expect twists at the end of every story, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he's got so many twists in his head. It was so well done.
Imagine Neil and M. Night Shyamalan in a room together.
They twist and shout.
Just twist, twist. Let's twist again.
Neither of them would be any good at 21, because they just keep twisting.
Yeah, twist.
They'd end up scoring about 1,000 or something.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, enjoyed the book. Really enjoyed it.
I felt that all the previous Twisted Dark books, they'd been black and white. And this was in full colour.
And it benefited from that.
Yeah, there are other titles by the publisher, by TPub Publishing, that are in full colour.
Yeah.
But all the Twisted Dark ones were deliberately black and white because that suits horror.
Highlighting the horror. And this colour, it leads itself to the science fiction. We talked about it last week on Polar Pass with Invisible Kingdom, and we're like, oh my goodness, this is so bright and stuff like that, so sci-fi, and you see it in like Guardians of the Galaxy. Sci-fi is big, bright colours, so yeah, it did benefit from that as well, I think.
And what I liked, which was the new kind of concept, kind of like a little add to the Twisted Dark kind of feel, was that there was always almost like an epilogue between each story. So the Puppo and
the
Sadler
people in between.
chats.
That's what I was going to mention. Yeah.
That was new.
The conversation between the two. I liked that because it sort of linked the story together. When we're talking, I never mentioned it before, but all of them seem like separate stories. But then there is those links between them two just having a conversation. It's like not over Messenger, obviously, but the intergalactic messenger, and they're just having that conversation between them. I was like, okay, because again, it was another nice break. It's always nice to have these breaks in the trade to sort of be like, okay, especially when you're reading individual stories. And then there was that was sort of like threading them together.
There was something quite something quite creepy as well about even though I message you pretty much most days, and don't think about it. You're just you, and you're replying to me. But with just the two same images again and again and again, talking about different things with different emotions, but it was always these flat two blank images. That kind of emphasised that messaging people rather than meeting them at the pub is actually a little bit creepy, because you can't really see and react as well as if you're having a pint, you're having a cup of tea, you're having a chat. And you don't think about that in a modern life. But those two images made me think, maybe I should see my friends more than just talking on Messenger. And I like Messenger. And it's put me off a bit.
Put you off Messenger? Well, there are other platforms.
Messaging, WhatsApp. Text, WhatsApp, whatever.
No. Yeah, put the technology down for a bit and actually just meet up and talk with someone.
I didn't particularly pick out highlighty moments because it was all great, but my favourite page in the entire book was the double page where there were two versions of the same world, and it was so well done. There was like the dark version, the dystopic version of the world, and then the utopic version of the world, and it was split in the middle of a double page spread, and it was so cleverly done. It was really gorgeous,
really effective.
The art was brilliant in this book.
Good combination. Like, we've talked a lot about the story, but the art really did. It supported the story. It supported the stories, and it supported like that sci-fi element they were going for. Dug it.
Did you see my name was in the back of the book?
No.
Yeah, because all the people who supported it on on Kickstarter
got a name.
There was like a list of every one of my names in the back of the book.
You made it.
Maybe. Tell you something else that the back of the book made me. You like your trailers, I know you do, and we knew Twisted Dark 7 was coming. We knew Theatrix 2 was coming, and we did know that The Traveller was coming. These are books that if you're on the TPub mailing list, you were aware of, but you hadn't seen the covers. And Transdimensional is one that they'd also announced. But Transmissions, Lucky Man, and Disposable Legends, I don't remember those being mentioned anywhere else.
I like the Lucky Man because I've seen that because it's a telly show, isn't it? Yeah, Stanley's Lucky Man, and they've gone for, I forget the actor's name, but they've had like his image on there. I was like, oh, Lucky Man, nice.
So yeah, for fans of the publisher, there was a huge kind of like, look at what we've got coming. Like trailers.
Nice.
At the back of the book, and that, again, Neil's a clever man. That's clearly deliberate, and also a nice little nod to people who've supported it on Kickstarter, I think.
Yeah, they just
you get to see that before anybody else does, and I don't know, I marked out. So
that's what it is. Yeah, it's about supporting supporters, isn't it, and supporting your fans and stuff like that. And I think they do it really well with that, and it was nice. It was nice, sort of like getting almost an exclusive.
Yeah, exactly right.
Which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. So all in all, it was bloody brilliant.
Yeah,
I loved it.
It's good. Yeah. So if people want to check it out, just before I do plug it in, it's like, we can't get it though, Fraser. When does it come out to? Do you know when
you can pre-order it through the tpub.com website, and the Kickstarter copies are on their way to people as we speak. May have it within the next week, I think. But you can pre-order the standard print copy now, and I think it's out pretty soon. I think you'll probably get it within a month. Not sure. Check their website.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you got on the Kickstarter, we'd be interested to know your thoughts on it as well. If you like what you hear and you are going to check it out, do let us know. And then when you do get the book, again, let us know your thoughts on it.
Got a Facebook group.
If you've checked out any of the previous TPub stuff, like if you listen to us talk about Twisted Dark, give it a go. And since then you've been like, yeah, I've read loads of TPub. We also want to know. We just want to know your thoughts, really. Facebook discussion group, got a Twitter where you can at us, and a YouTube comment section on videos. Potentially like this if you're listening on YouTube.
Indeed.
And you know where that comment section is below if you're listening on YouTube? Just right there. If you're on the other platforms, open another tab.
Oh dear.
Get on YouTube. But yeah, no, really enjoyed the book, and that was trade-off for this.
To listen to Geek of the Week, be sure to tune in next week. same geek time, same geek channel.
And if you want to follow us on social media, it's at GOTW Radio on Twitter. Search for Geek of the Week Radio Show on Facebook. And to listen again, it's www.mixcloud.com/Geek of the Week Radio Show.